Welcome back. Well, as the weather warms up, many of us begin spring cleaning, but it's important to do that digital spring cleaning too to protect your personal information and online transactions secure. So Howard Schwartz from the Connecticut Better Business Bureau is here to tell us how to do that. Howard Schwartz, always good to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Steph.
So when it comes to digital spring cleaning, we're not talking about just wiping down those keyboards. We're talking about actually going through files and erasing data. What's important to take care of?
Well, you're correct. We're not talking about the cosmetic. We're talking about the content of our smart devices, our laptops, as well as our home computers. We have a lot of habits which are not particularly good, and I would say that digital spring cleaning that we're going to discuss is not optional anymore. It's really obligatory. So what we're looking at the end of the day is to make sure our computers are secure, that there's no malware, and very important that we have a backup of our personal files.
So what should you do? How do you kind of start?
First thing to do would be to remove old programs from your computer because they can slow things down. They can be more vulnerable to hacking than some of the newer ones. Get rid of things from your computer that you don't use anymore because they slow them down as well, like photographs, videos. When you're talking about safety, we should be looking at things like whether or not we've applied patches and updates, because these are rolled out not just for increased usability, for more function, but also to close holes that we find, security holes in various software. And I think a lot of people neglect to do that.
How could this stuff impact online transactions? Because that's what we said in the beginning. What would impact that?
We have so much personally identifiable information on our credit card numbers, passwords, logins, and a lot of this information, well, all of it is sprinkled around the internet, but also in our smart devices and computers. So what we want to do is make sure that that information is protected. And I think that sometimes people will go to websites not really being careful when they're clicking on various things. So the goal here really is to stop the leakage in our computers, if you will, and clean out stuff we don't use anymore.
And these are the tips. This is your checklist. We just kind of talked about that. I think the one thing we didn't really hit on there is strengthen passwords. How do you go about doing that? What do you recommend?
Well, there is free password management software. It's very convenient. But the other thing is you should have a combination of caps, lower case letters, numbers, and maybe a symbol. And people say, well, how can I remember all that? You can have a complicated password, maybe just change the symbol from a $ to a pound, depending on whether you're going on social media or the bank, and just change that one symbol rather than remembering 10 different passwords.
Someone once told me this tip, and it really has worked for me. You usually have your go-to passwords, right? And those are things that you always remember because everyone always wants to remember the passwords. But what I'll do is I'll go through the password and use a 0 for an O or a 3 for an E, so the number that kind of corresponds to that letter.
It's better, but hackers...
That's not strong?
It's not terribly strong.
Oh, man. I thought that was a good one.
Well, the problem is we know that any computer can be hacked, and usernames and passwords have been hacked from all over. If they find a combination that works with your email address, you can best bet that they're going to be going on to well-known sites, banking sites, social media, to try that password and email combination. But something we also forgot to touch upon is probably one of the most important items, and that's to do a backup of your files. Hopefully we'll develop good habits after doing this spring cleaning, but by backing up your files, if your device is stolen or broken, you don't have to worry about losing all that information.
Yeah, you should probably do it more than once a year, too. Probably do it regularly. Well, thank you so much, Howard Schwartz.
My pleasure.
Great information there, and if you need that checklist again, just head to our website, WTNH.com.